Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, Instagram, anywhere there's going to be a live or recorded version of this going out there to you. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson, and hopefully you all are doing great out there. It is Thursday morning, I believe. Is that right? I don't know. I never know what day it is. I'm here on the homestead all the time. Give me 1 second. I gotta answer something back here. There we go. Girlfriend had a question. She's at work already. Good morning, Mr. Casey. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm trying to get this in a good spot. Yesterday, it's been 1 year ago today since this man has passed away. July 22nd. It's been 1 year already. How time flies. Yes, we have him everywhere. This is the original painting. This is the print of that version, of this version. And I do have the original of that one available if you are looking. And of course, Mr. Chester Bennington back here. And then my Naughty Nun series right there. Giving you multiple views today of artwork out there all the way. Don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here. And whenever you are here, and if you do follow us, go ahead and hit that bell icon in the profile up there. And that will let you know when we post and or go live. How are y'all doing out there? Today we're going to be talking about foundations, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. What foundations mean to you? So we've been binge watching Game of Thrones. I know we're late to the party. I've seen it, not like entirely or even starting from the first season, yada, yada, yada. I've seen it here and there, bits and pieces, blah, blah, blah. The Stark family is just a sucky family. Let's just put it that way. They can't fight for squat. If you've never seen it before, don't worry about it. It's fantasy, medieval, you know, science fiction, supposed, not science fiction, but fantasy completely. And, House of Dragons, same thing. But the Stark family is just, unfortunately, a cursed family in that show. And it's not cool because they're the likable family out of all of them. But there's not many of them left right now. Let's just put it that way. And we're in season 3. And quite a few of them just got wiped off the map. Let's just put it that way. There's only a handful left. Like I said, I think there's 4 of the family left. One of them, as they call the bastard child. Um, Not much left there. So he's going to have to step up. But you got some youngins left. You got 2 of the female characters left for the Stark family, and then you've got 2 of the Stark actual bloodline, and then you've got Jon Snow. Everybody talks about Jon Snow all the time. So yeah, that show is getting interesting to say the least. I mean, it's already interesting, and why I never watched it in the beginning, I don't know. It's just one of those things that there's this many seasons of it. I might take interest in it. And like I said, I've seen episodes here and there before, but it's just like, nah, I just couldn't get into it 100%. And so we just started binge watching it after we got done with what was the last show we binge watched? Oh, Shameless. Shameless was the last TV show that we binge watched. Another classic TV show um, that was on, I guess, HBO. I'm pretty sure that's where that one was at. So, all that being said, hey, Casey, just FYI, the trick does work. Making your house look like a Smith house does work. You see all the aluminum foil in people's windows and things like that, um, and you're like, oh, I bet they're doing this in that house, And no, that's not it. You're saving on your electricity is what you're doing. I have some. I had some. We still have a little bit left, but I was given for freezies by another friend of mine, a military buddy of mine, that I got some huge pallets for my compound pallets back there around the chicken coop area. Drywall pallets. He had some insulation board at his house that he gave me a long time ago. And that's what we used on the roof of the chicken coop. And it's got a thin metal, like it's almost like a tin almost, but it's a very thin layer. Um, it's it's got little bumps on it. I can't describe it 100%, but then it's got your insulation board on the inside, and then on the outer side, it's got a metal flashing basically. It's like aluminum foil over the top of that. Well, we decided instead of putting aluminum foil up, after we got a new air conditioner from another friend of ours who donated that to us because it's a 12,000 BTU AC, and we're running probably like 800 BTUs if I had to guess is what the house has been running. Well, it's made a huge difference already. So, absolutely 100%. And you wouldn't think just putting some aluminum foil in your window in the hottest part of summer would do anything, but it actually helps. We were running about 84 degrees, even with the air conditioners going inside the house. And now we got down into the 70, I think it was like 76 degrees last night with full sun on the windows on the east side or on the west side of the house. So, and it's about 10 times darker in the front room, bedroom than it was previously to that as well. So there's an testament to that it does work, that it do work. As you know, I do commissions here, working on a bunch, putting in a lot of detail right now on this piece. So even though I'm going to show it to you, you're going to be like, well, that's weird. That's the same spot it was at the last time you showed it to us. No, it's not. Right here. The big old 18 by 24 God of War piece. I'm adding in a whole bunch of details in the chains and things like that. And then more detail into the armor that they're wearing right now. As we move along with this piece, then I've already sent the preliminary design for the sketch cover, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. So this is the preliminary. This is just a quick sketch up of what is going to be laid down on this cover right here. It is a Predator piece with Schwarzenegger and his crew up here in the helicopters, in the Hewitt, and the links I go to for the art. Okay, that's me as a pose right there, hanging from a tree. Um, and what I mean by that is, there you go. I pose for my art. If I can't find a position I like, I make it happen. So there you go. The links I go to for my artwork, for my fans, for my friends. Because let's just face it, if you buy artwork from me, you're no longer friends or fans. You're friends, friends for life. And most of the time, I get quite a bit of repeat business. Now, still bane of my existence, the Shrek, the not Shrek. No, it is Shrek piece. Have I seen another payment yet? Should I just send him his money back and be done with him and sell the piece? Probably. Because, like I said, the last time he sent me money, it was $6, and he said, "Better something than nothing." And we still haven't even hit the halfway point of that piece yet. And here we are. 7 months into the piece. Well, hold on. It started in February, so let's give it the benefit of the doubt. 6 months into this piece, it's going to take him a whole fucking year just to pay this piece off. When $25 a month for 5 months, you're done. That's the type of client you don't want. Let's just put it that way. 100% the type of client you do not want. So, that was done yesterday. Today, probably going to end up picking up her car and checking out the front end again, just to make it drive worthy. Just because, I mean, it's drive worthy, but it's still off balance as far as all that goes. So I'm going to try and work on that today as well. It's supposed to be cooler the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, because it's already cooler. It's in the 70s to right now, 76. So it is cooler than it has been the past X amount of days. It's saying 73 down here on this one, but the official one that I looked at said 76. So, but they're still saying 73 here. By 9, it's supposed to be in the 78, which is much cooler than it has been. Again, go away. Jeez, come on. Get out of my face. I don't want you anymore. I need to see what's going on over here. Oh well, the computer's doing its own damn thing, and that's why I hate computers, because they do their own fucking thing that they want to do. And so, well, let me see if that'll work. Will that work? Will that go away? No, that's not making it go away either. Mother humper. All right, so also yesterday, um, when I went over to do some things at Roy's house the other day, um, I noticed that the trees that they had cut down were still there on the property at the apartment complex. And so I had him get in touch with his landlord there. And hello, Roy. Welcome to the show. And I was like, hey, see what they're going to do with those trees, those chopped up trees and stuff. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Turn me into a Brooklyner real quick. And so he called him up and talked to Faith, the landlord there. And she was like, no, if he can pick him up, more power to him. Let him do it. Because the day prior to that, or the day of that, I went over to his house, and I saw a huge pile of logs, and so I stopped at the house the very next day and asked the owner if I could pick up, any of the wood. And he goes, pick up all you want. And I was like, okay, cool, thanks. I just didn't want to show up on your property unannounced. And he was like, no problem. Just go ahead and get what you want. So I went ahead and loaded my trailer up as the city of Fort Smith truck was pulling up. And, yo, what up? Is that like, yo, MTV Raps? Just kidding, man. Welcome to the show, though. And so they pulled up, and I was like, hey, I'm getting a bunch of this wood. And they were like, okay, I'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. I was like, cool, thanks. So he leaves. I load up my truck with the biggest stuff that they had cut for firewood. And then drove off. And then came back the next day after Roy told me, hey, they said, go ahead, pick up all you want. And, of course, the entire pile is gone already because who do you think it is? Who's behind me? Dun, dun, dun. Ozzy Osbourne. The passing of was yesterday for Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. No, not Loki. Ozzy Osbourne. My painting, my originals, right there. All these are my paintings back here. Chester Bennington, Ozzy, tattoos, Ozzy, later in life, and then one of my bad habits right there. So, I haven't done a Loki in a long time. Haven't drawn him up in a while. I do have one. Oh, I did him in 365 Days of Art, which was back in like 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. I did a piece of artwork every day for 365 days. out of the year. And so I loaded up one truckload of firewood that is now in my front yard. The girlfriend's still getting crazy about that because we clean the front yard and then I bring home stuff, like little strays, of wood and things of that nature. So the front yard is junked up again with wood, lumber, and then of course our fresh cut shavings. I've drawn Spider-Man before. I don't have any current Spider-Mans right now. I don't think. Well, no, maybe I do. I'm trying to think of which book it's in. Give me just 1 second. I got a portfolio. It depends on the size of the piece, but I have standards, and we can talk if you want to. I'm trying to see which one it's in, where my Spider-Man is, if he's in one of my smaller books or if he's in this book or not. And it's not showing these in this book. Oh, well, I've got a Miles Morales right here. I do have a Miles Morales. Right there. With magic on the other. No, that's a Tomorrow Girl on the other side. Um, there. I'm trying to see if I've got a smaller Spider-Man in here. I know I did one a while back, but I don't know if that one's sold or not. Cause I ain't seeing him in here. And again, I don't remember which size I did him on. There you go. I do. I've done all kinds of NFL players from Ron Brady to Mahomes, and of course a lot of Dallas Cowboys because we're Dallas Cowboy fans over here. And I know a lot of people don't like the Dallas Cowboys, and that's okay. A lot of you don't have good taste either. But yeah, no, I do commissions on different things, so we can talk. Like I said, and thank you guys for the gifts, the likes, the shares, and the follows. We are up to 10,006 likes, 10.7 likes, thousand that is. And yeah, well, I've done all kinds of. I've done Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, uh, Ezekiel Elliott. Those type of things. 44 and 19 ring a bell. I'm sure you're referring to some players. But if it's off of a different team than the Dallas Cowboys, no. The Saints, okay. Gotcha. Oh, that was so long ago. And you guys were on a winning streak at one point in time, and we ended that winning streak. You guys were undefeated until you met us, and we kicked your ass. So it happens. Oh, that's okay. Well, congratulations on that. But I remember you guys were on a winning streak. You were like 10-0 or something like that, and then you came to us, and we kicked your ass. So it happens. It everybody has their seasons, and you know, you've got how many Super Bowls under your belt? Well, we should have two rings. Well, I mean, once you get up to that five, we'll talk. Oh man, good old sports talk, banter back and forth. Yeah, one of the pastors from the church that I was in was a huge Saints fan. So that's your choice. Either one is a fine place to go. I was Army, Did my time there, and I don't regret it. I just regret not going in out of high school. I was 33, and when I joined the military and the 45th Infantry, and so went to Fort Benning in the heat of summer. Not the smartest idea, but I did. That's when training was done, and you know they did try to take you off this earth, um, pretty well. Marine Corps is no different in reality. Of course, your courses are a little different and things like that, obviously, because each has their own specialized um, thing. And I was heavily recruited by the Marines out of high school. But as I told the recruiter that kept hitting me up, I was like, look, I don't want to stop tanks with my head. You know, that was my mentality back then as a kid. So a painting, that depends on the size, right? Yeah. This size right here for an original 16 by 20 of that size is 800 right there. And I do payment plans. Okay. So don't think you got to pay it all at once. So, and if you are, well, you're talking about going into the military. I was going to say if you were in the military already, you know, you would get a discount, 20% discount, because I try to give back to my military brothers and sisters of arms. And so there you go. That's the price on a 16 by 20, which is directly behind me. Oh, the price is set. I mean, if you want a 16 by 20 painting of Alvin Kamara, it's 800. Now, if you want something smaller, I do 11 by 15, which is this size right here. This is 220. And then I do a 9 by 12, which is this size, which is 150. Those are my set prices. Right there, right there. And like I said, I do payment plans, so it's not a big deal. If you can't pay it all at once, that's fine. Just don't be like this guy who could have been paid already. This is actually a memorial piece for a friend of ours. He was her boss, and I was her friend, and she passed away in December, the very last day of December. And so he wanted to do a memorial piece for her, and she liked Stitch, and she was a Wiccan, so we did. I created this design of Stitch Witch, and he hasn't even paid half payment on this yet, and that's when I normally start the work. So, so Ben, uh, you can hit me up in Messenger, and we'll talk more on that note. So, like I said, I do payment plans, so it's all good. I try to work in everybody's budget, you know, and or help them out as best as possible because I know not everybody's made of money, you know, and that's what we're going to get into the foundations of. What were your foundations growing up? What was what was your home life that set the tone for your life? Did you change that foundation as you got older, or did that foundation from your childhood continue with you? Because you see that unfortunately a lot. You see a the poverty section of things where people tend to stay and they never try to better their situation. They for some reason that mentality sticks with you. That, oh, this is how I lived, so this is how I should continue to live. And it's not just foundation of home life either. It's foundations of, there's a foundation when it comes to everything that you do, the job that you do. There was a founding basis for how that job started. Like with artwork, you know, a form started that art piece of artwork. Like there's a lot of different ways to do a foundation to a piece of artwork. Some people just jump right into it. And tell you a crazy story. There's a lot of crazy stories out there. Oh, good God. TikTok, go fuck yourself, okay? I'm going to appeal this real fast because, yes, I am telling people to go outside the TikTok shop to buy my merchandise because I do not sell on the TikTok shop. Um, One of my crazy stories. Let's start when I was a kid. Do I want to tell that one? Because people have heard. Well, we can go ahead and tell that one. We'll tell that one. So I was spending the night at my cousin's house, and my aunt loves cats. Okay, she probably had 15, 20 cats at the time. Not so much now, but she used to. Because she used to take in the strays and all that good stuff. Well, I was spending the night at his house, and we were up talking pretty late. You know, probably getting ready to go to bed about this time of the morning. It was probably early in that, the witching hour, if you will. But we'd been up talking. We were starting to get tired, and you know, we're winding down. Getting He's over in his bed. I'm over in my bed, and he has to use the bathroom. So he gets up and goes to the bathroom. Next thing I know, he's running out of the bathroom, jumping under his covers, covering his head up, not saying a fucking thing. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know? And of course, it's not going to be approved TikTok. You don't like me. It's okay. And so at this point in time, I gotta pee. And I'm like, do I go in there? Because I don't know what's in there. I don't know if he saw a spider. I don't know if you know, a cat scared him. Whatever. But as looking the room over, there was no cats in the room. So I get up, go to the bathroom, doing my thing, and as I'm, taking a leak, I'm hearing the scratching sound going on. And I'm like looking around, the lights on. I'm looking around, absolutely nothing in the bathroom. And I'm like, well, maybe it's a cat scratching on the door or something like that. It's like, hey, whatever, because the door's closed to the bedroom. And so I turn, wash my hands, flick the light off, and I hear scratching again. I turn around, look in the bathroom, and it's not dimly lit. It's dark. I mean, you can't see. So I flip the light on again. Absolutely nothing in the bathroom. So I'm like, maybe it's a rat or a mouse in the wall. Just trying to climb up the wall and it's scratching or eating or something in the wall. Who knows? So I flip the light off again, and as I'm getting ready to exit the bathroom, I'm in the doorway. The the sink and mirror are right next to me on my left, and so I hear the scratching again. So I just turn around, start looking around. I'm as I'm gazing in the dark, and I walk back into the bedroom or into the bathroom, and look from the bathtub shower area to the toilet, then back around. And as I get to the mirror and where the sink is, still in dark, I see two red glowing eyes at the base of the mirror. Now, you're thinking, oh, tail lights from a car outside. No, the bathroom has no windows in it. Where the mirror is positioned on the wall, there's no reflective surfaces that can be made from outside the room that could turn and hit right there. And so I'm staring into the eyes of a demon. So, needless to say, I run out of the bathroom and jump under the covers, thinking, if it can't get me because it can't see me, right? Well, that's something that he and I never talked about. The very next day, we both ended up falling asleep and waking up and just going about our normal everyday business of playing as kids. And that was my first demon story. And since then, I've seen a lot of things in this supernatural world, if you will. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's not, it was a demon. It was a spirit. It was a creature of the night. It was, you know, that's what it was. It was a demon. Now, my aunt was into some dark things back in the day. She had a velvet Satan on her wall. My mother had the velvet Jesus on hers. And whenever my aunts would, the lights would go out, it had all these subliminal messages around the devil, you know, um, from sex, drugs, and rock and roll all around it. It was cool. But I am very attuned to the other side. I have my ghost hunting equipment right in the other room, right in the hallway closet. I've got some ghost hunting things in here right now because I do live in a haunted house, which people have seen firsthand on my live videos. Um, there's been mist that have passed in front of me. There's been orbs. There's been paintings that have flown off the wall from behind me. Uh, my cat ball, which I do have set up in front of the naughty nun right there, which is right there. And if you don't know what a cat ball is, it's one of these right here. You set it off, you set it down and leave it, and I'll show you once it goes off what I'm talking about. Once it stops its flashing from the startup, and see right there, it's done. And so it takes an act of actually physically moving it to get it to go again. So I got these set up. Let's see here. One time it was me, my friend, and her dad playing with the dogs in the backyard. It went silent for a second. We heard this voice, "Get 'em, Rocky," which was what we were saying. And it wasn't any. Oh, so you had a mimic. You had a mimic happening. That's cool. I mean, mimics do happen on a regular basis. I've got disembodied voices here in the house. Like one day I was cleaning up the back bedroom where my mother was going to be staying. And as I'm cleaning it up, I hear in a loud, audible voice, "Not yours!" And I'm like, I had to literally go outside to see if my neighbors were having a fight, which they don't normally fight at all that I hear. And nobody was outside. No TVs were on, nothing. And it was just like, oh, okay, so I've got the spirit telling me that this room isn't mine, but it is mine because I own the house. Whatever. And yeah, and that's what a mimic does. It will mimic everybody's voices. It'll try to mimic one voice, but if there's multiples that are doing the same thing, kind of like a predator, like I was talking about on this little piece that I'm working on, this predator piece where I did the posing for. Um, you know, in Predator, I don't know if you've seen the original, where it's trying to get the voice down, and you start hearing all these other voices before it gets to the voice that made that sound, or the laughter and things like that. Um, well, I mean, the supernatural gives a lot of people goosebumps. Me, I've lived with it my entire life since that demon story that I told you, um, all the way up to present, where again I live in a haunted house, literally. So demons are demons. There's nothing safe about them. No, no. The a mimic. Now a mimic is a different story. A mimic can stay with a person. You can get cleansed. Sage usually works the best. Smudge your room, or set the sage off, open a window, run it out of the house, out that window. You start in the back section of your house and move forward, all that good stuff. And see, you haven't had any experiences since then. And that mimic could be on the property alone, in that one section of property as well. There's no Mimics are just one of those crazy little creatures that can follow a person. And if you ever see a mimic, not just hear it, but if you see it, they say that's when bad things happen. No, I get it. And there's a lot of things that don't feel real around my house that I see. Like the full body apparitions that I've seen, you know, as I'm looking around my backyard, and then all of a sudden there's a person standing there, and then I glance back real fast and they're gone. And there's nowhere for them to have gone. The shadow people that I see, there's balls of light, the flashes of light, the orbs, the movements. So we have poltergeist activity here at the house as well. It's just you. The demon has no effect on you. The demon would be stuck with me and not you. So, go for it. I'm listening. The Get Out voice you have. Oh, yes, I do. Well, no, that one's a different one. That one is come back, come back. After like 1 minute 8 seconds after setting up my video camera in the front room to capture the ghostesses, right up next to the microphone on the camera, you hear come back, come back. And that one is posted on my page. And just to say something, I kid you not, I saw a body in the garden, which their whole house is fenced. I ran inside so quick it was horrified. I was horrified. No, I mean, whenever you're seeing stuff like that, you could be what is referred to as a medium, um, meaning you can see things that other people cannot. And it's nothing to be scared of. It's just something to hone in on if you wanted to. Um, or a sensitive. Two different things, but almost the same thing. One thing before the mimic. So see, you've had other experiences before the mimic, and that's okay. That's fine. In the corner of my backyard, my dog used to just sit there and bark. That's probably where. Is this the same property that you heard the voices at? Animals can see the other side. They can see spirits. No different property. Okay. Well, the animals can see different. Can see the spirit side because our animals will actually just sit there and stare at a spot where there's nothing, you know, and they're wide eyed and looking. It's not like they're just looking at a spot and then look away. They're dead set on it, honed in, on a spot. And it wasn't happened in a while, and it hasn't happened in a while, and it's just horrifying. Well, since your mimic story, or did the mimic story happen before the dog, or did the dog happen after the mimic? Vice versa. How'd that go? How'd that play out? Mimic happened after it stopped a little. Okay. So you could need a cleansing. Let's just put it that way. Unless, excuse me, unless you want to hone in on your skills, because apparently you are either a sensitive or a medium when it comes to this sort of thing. Yeah, yeah, because sometimes, like in the vampire lore, they have to be invited in. Me, I've got haunted items sitting behind me. I've got a haunted doll, Mr. Diego. That's his feet right there. He is trapped inside of this gesture doll. And then directly behind the naughty nun, the bad habits there, I've got Maribel and a Dybbuk box. So, as most people would, I embrace it. Um, let's see, back in 2022 when I bought this place and moved in, I had no furniture, no nothing. Wait, I might be crazy, but I randomly got this voodoo doll hanging on my lamp over ever since then. The dog thing. Okay. Do you, did you pick? Where'd you get the voodoo doll? Are you in Louisiana? I mean, since you're a Saints fan, I'm not making fun of, because I was in Louisiana for Katrina as well and visited some voodoo shops down there. There could be your problem. That voodoo doll could have something attached to it. I'm just saying. Do I? No. Never burn a haunted artifact, because that just releases it to go somewhere else. If it is truly, um, yeah, yeah, no, I get that, but there still could be something attached to that voodoo doll. I'm just saying. Um, Send me a picture of it after a while if you don't have one already. I want to see it. Oh, I'm a glutton for punishment with that type of stuff. If I can find haunted items, I love to get them. 100%. Voodoo is completely different. Um, Voodoo does have its dark side. Voodoo does have its light side, just like in the witchcraft world. You've got the Wiccans, the White Witches, and then you've got of course, your black magic practitioners. Um, and Voodoo is the same way. Um, but as far as demons go, with Voodoo, there are reports of such things. Let me look something up real fast. Bum, bum, bum. And while I'm looking something up, we'll do an ad break real fast. V8 Energy peach mango, the best flavor that you got. The rest of them taste like chemical shit. So V8 Energy, be my sponsor and send me your peach mango on a regular basis, because your other stuff is just crap. There you go. There's my ad break for V8 Energy. Um, all right, let me see. No, that is not. I don't want a fucking game. Okay, in Voodoo, there are no demons. Absolutely, 100%. I drink these on a regular basis. And that's my morning wake up. I don't drink Monster Energy drink or anything like that. Um, the In Voodoo, there are no demons per se. There are spirits and spirit guides and spirits of death, but there aren't demons. The Bokor is a sorcerer in the Voodoo realm that practices both hands, meaning they are capable of both good and evil, including creating zombies or utilizing curses. So, in the voodoo folklore and the culture of voodooism, there is no demons. So, I can't really say the mimic is a demon, but it's pretty close. When it comes to the truly demonic realm, think exorcism, exorcist, um, where it wants to possess you. A mimic wants to be you. It doesn't just want to possess you, it wants to be you, take over your life. Now, as in a demonic presence, a demonic entity entering your body, it wants to destroy your vessel. A mimic doesn't want to do that per se. So it wants to continue to be you. I know, I get it 100%. And as they say, whenever you believe in Jesus, do you have to believe in both, right? You have to believe in a heaven and a hell, right? And I was a pastor for a year, lo and behold, and theology and all that good stuff. And there's two things that we don't talk about here. Casey, you're on point. What do we not talk about here? Casey's my wingman for this. He always pulls up the right answer. Um, the Pope or Trump? We don't talk about religion or politics on this show, just because people lose their minds whenever you talk about those two. Now, for your case, if you do believe in Jesus, what's the one thing you can do? Call upon his name, right? Say it out loud, and the demons have to leave. That means the mimics have to leave, the ghosts have to leave, all that stuff. Because if, and I'm not saying that it's not, no, you're fine. You're new here, so which is cool. See? And that's all you have to do because that's the power of the name, you know. You can send me the voodoo doll. I 100%. I will take it 100%. We can factor it into. I need to see it first, but we can factor it into the price of your Alvin Kamara piece. Absolutely. So, you know, um, but no, it when it comes to certain things, if you are a true 100% believer, on whatever, then doing what you did is what you're supposed to do. Because according to the Bible, the just invoking his name is supposed to drive out all evil from your presence. So, and then the next step would be getting rid of the voodoo doll. So, yes, definitely send me a picture 100% because I definitely want to see it. I've seen voodoo dolls, especially at Haitian shops and things like that around Louisiana and things of that nature. But I was just reading a little bit more right there because in voodoo you've got basically three different levels there. Yeah, it didn't attach to you for on that note. It's just one of those things that you just have to watch and listen for. Now, if you don't believe in that aspect or realm of things, it'll all start to fade and go away. It's just like Peter Pan, how people started to forget it, or he even forgot who he was as he grew older and didn't have his power anymore. Same way with spirits and things like that. If you don't give them recognition, that because that's all they want. They want that recognition that hey, we're here. No, demon is not imagination. Trust me. Demon's not something you want to play with. Period. Me, I'm just crazy. I'll play with any of them. And that's just me. But yes, don't play with demons. Demon is not imagination. Demon is something that can hurt you. Absolutely, leave nasty things on your body. Um, if you think syphilis is bad, try getting a demon. Um, and I'm not making light. I'm not making light or joking about it. It's just that if you want to get into it right. Start small. Get you a You're making me break out my ghost hunting kit. All right, so in my ghost hunting kit, we'll start right here with my handy dandy digital video camcorder, 6000K or 6K right there, ultra, with this boom mic right here. This is where I captured the sound. Come back, come back. I tried to talk to my uncle about it, but he just said it was probably a neighbor, but it was close. Yeah, people that don't believe aren't going to give you any good sage advice. But this is what I've got right here, and I know people have better equipment than this, but this one does really well. Night vision, all that good stuff. Very cool, very clear. Then we break into this kit. Okay, what do we have on the backside? Dun dun dun. All right, on the backside, we've got a lot more cat balls. A lot more cat balls. Then we've got another speaker that goes to recording devices. And that's just a strap. Ooh. No, that's not going to help me. That's not going to help me. I thought it would help me on certain different aspects of things with my kayak. Yes, I kayak as well. My girlfriend and I. All right, then on the front side, let's get to the good stuff, shall we? Now, I do have a spirit box sitting back over there behind all the paintings that you can't see. Um, this is for the night experience, or not night experience, but if you want to do some, what is it? I can't remember what it's called. The deprivation, where you take the sight away. You use this, you put it on, and you're just listening through the headphones, and that takes your deprivation away of sight. It's a very cool way to do things, to get answers, because somebody's asking questions in a different spot out of earshot. This is a heat sensor for heat or cool. Let you know, if you've got a cold spot, why you do have a cold spot. Then you've got your EMF detector. Pop it on, and then it lets you know, hey, you've got a lot of power, in a certain area. Now, I shouldn't be getting anything right here, but as you see, it's bouncing. There is no power right here next to me, except for my headphones. But as I go a little bit farther back, I get a lot of power right there. As they can see over there, it's flashing into the red. And I shouldn't be getting any power in the middle of a room at all. Yes, the fan's going up there, but it doesn't even put it in the red like it does right here, like right next to me. So, there's probably something next to me right there. It's off. Then I have all of these coolly cool things right here. All of my voice recorders, digital, plus I have a regular track. No, I get that. And then this one's a cool one. This one's a, you know, infrared night vision. Yeah, I'm pretty into it, pretty hardcore with it. Um, oh yes, this is my basically high field, E field warning detector, all that good stuff. That one's good. And then another camcorder right here that I can whole, carry with me, and it shows you that whole scene, all that good stuff. Plus my dowsing rods right here. This is one set that I've got. I got another copper set over here. And so, when it comes to ghost hunting, I'm into it pretty hardcore. Just haven't gone in a while. We've gone a few ghost hunting spots and we've picked up some cool stuff, but we just like to ghost hunt here at the house because I've got everything I want right here. Do demons hunt karma? No, that's not how demons work. Demons are demons, and they just want bloodlust, if you will. So don't worry about now. Karma is a completely different animal. You know, as they say, karma will come back and get whoever. Believe that because it is true. How some of the great ones fall. No, no. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to what you believe. Like I said, because you've got people that don't believe in anything. Then you've got people that believe in everything. Because you're going to get people to say all kinds of things about the Bible, 100%. You're going to get all kinds of people to say all kinds of different things about. Let's take Anton LaVey and his side of the fence, and then you're going to have people that are going to say all kinds of things about Buddhism, Judaism, this, that, and the other. Okay. Ultimately, it's what boils down to what you believe. If you believe in the power of that you've already talked about, then that's where you stay. Now, I'm a believer in all things. I try to expand my mind, my horizons. That's why I have the Satanic Bible sitting right next to the Holy Bible in my library. I've got the Quran, I've got the Torah, I've got all kinds of different religious books in my library. And they sit side by side with each other. And my library hasn't burned down yet. Okay. Now, do I have a lot of activity in my library? I used to. It is creepy. It is scary and creepy to think about. Uh, and I'm not going to say they're set around you, but if you are super heavy into the Bible side of things, Jesus, Yahweh, all that good stuff, then you are going to see your trials. Meaning you've got the devils around you, as we all do. And on that note, what's the higher power? Who wins in the end, according to the Bible? Absolutely, 100% scary world. And the problem with this world is it's not getting any better. That's where the foundations I was talking about come into play. Because are you trying to make yourself better in this world from the foundations where you started? I don't know your foundational childhood. Mine was not great. Um, let's just talk about my childhood for a second and how my foundation started. Uh, Broken home. I had a dad that could care less if he saw us or not because he was traveling a lot. He was a truck driver, and so when he did come into town to see us, it was supposed to be a every other weekend type of situation. That didn't happen on a regular basis. There were sometimes he would just come get us for a dinner and then drop us right back off at the house and take off. If we did go back to the house with him, we never saw him except going to church. Very charismatic church, by the way. The laying of on hands and they fall down and pass out and shake on the ground. That type of church. And I slept in a closet because there were so many kids in one bedroom. Had a little pallet in the closet, and most of the time I was leaned up against the wall in the closet. No problem, no problem. And then my mother married my stepdad. Well, let the beatings ensue. Because a spanking, a normal spanking back in the 70s, was just a spanking, a belt, a hand, whatever. Mine was the buckle. Mine was whatever was handy. You go pick your own switch, but if it's not the right switch, I'm still gonna beat. I'm still gonna swat you with this one a lot of times, and then I'm gonna go get a branch that I think is more appropriate to spank you with. Then the verbal abuse. Then me not wanting to stay at home, period. Because back in the 70s is a different time period for everybody. We were out until the sun went down and the street lights came on. Me, I was hardly at home ever. I was outside, I was hardly inside due to a lot of that stuff at the house. Grew up with religion. Baptist was my first. Then I went to Nazarene. Then I went to non denominational through life. And now I'm more open minded to everything. So I've been trying to better my foundation my entire life. As soon as I was able to get out of the house underneath the laws of the house and the rules of the house, I was gone. My brother unfortunately didn't have that opportunity. My stepdad kicked him out early. Oh, you're able to work, you're old enough to work, go out on your own. Well, we kind of figured out why later on in life, whenever there was some allegations brought up against my stepdad, against my sister, who's no longer with us either. That became truth because he admitted to it. So foundations can shape you for the rest of your life if you let it. But you can create your own foundations, meaning you can create a whole new generation of you and your family. And you had something you wanted to say, Ben? Please share it. That's my story of foundations. You know, you can change your foundation 100%. Just like adding a foundation to your house, you can add on, leaving the old behind, like I'm going to here. Lots of add ons getting ready to happen. So, a needle pulling thread. Growing up was a non owned house with this dude and my mom. Okay. Like my aunt, she had a lot of dudes in her house, as well as Satan. And walk in, right on your right is a dining room table. Okay. With a blanket over it. All right. Gotcha. Instead of a table cover. Got it. We used to do that too. And as a matter of fact, sheets were curtains, you know, with a blanket over it, not the table. Okay, gotcha. I'm tracking. Keep going. And one time she had door dashed. I promised you I heard voice in there. I was 8. Okay. See, it's about the same time that I saw the demon. I was about 8 or 9 when I saw the demon for the first time, and then things just have been with me ever since. And like I said, you could be on the sensitive side or the medium side. More like the sensitive, if I had to guess. You're more in tune with the other side than you think. And ever since then, there was something around or under my bed. I know it seemed cliche. No, no. spirit realm wants to be seen, but it doesn't want to be seen. Does that make sense? That's why you get so many reports of things in the closet, things under the bed, um, things in the attic. But I haven't been in that house since. It was horrifying. No, I get it, and that's the spirit realm for you. Unfortunately, yes, it wants to be seen. Yes, it wants to be noticed. Yes, it wants to let you know, hey, I'm still here. But on the same token, why do you get so many reports of I saw a shadow figure out of the peripheral vision of my eye, and when I looked, there was nothing there. I saw movement out of the peripheral of my eye, and there was nothing there when I looked. You know, police showing up to that house every now and then for other. I can imagine what the other things were. That house was just haunted, and houses. Unfortunately, houses, places, things, and people can be haunted because I could be dragging a lot of things with me as far as hauntings go, just because of the things I've seen through my entire life. Um, and I'm okay with that. You know, that's me. That's my burden to carry. You know, could I get rid of them? Absolutely, I probably could. Like I was going to say, the first nights that I lived in this house back in 2022, the very first night, I had an air up mattress in the bedroom because I hadn't got my first furniture moved in yet, and I'm dead asleep. I do have a water pistol with me. I can't say the regular thing, but laying in bed asleep on the air mattress under the covers. Next thing I know, it sounds like somebody's trying to bust down my front door. I'm up, that water pistol in hand, flipping on lights, going through every room of the house, and then I go outside the entire perimeter of the house. Absolutely nothing. So I'm like, okay, maybe something just like an airplane went by or something that shook the house, whatever. Because we got the air base right here next to me, uh, right here, Fort Chaffee. And so I went back to sleep. Very next night, same thing happened, just a different door. I'm up again, flipping on lights, and then that's when I realized, oh, I've got ghost activity, paranormal ghost activity, uh, poltergeist activity. They're wanting me to know that they're here. Well, as I do more extensive cleaning and things of that of the house, I start noticing certain aspects of the house. Like I found several crucifixes in the attic, um, in different places around the house. And then I started finding crystals around the property, quartz crystal and things like that. All this stuff is supposed to ward off evil. Well, the office that I'm sitting in, someone supposedly took their life here. Um, One of the first residents of this home back in the 60s, probably later 70s or so. Yeah, it was just a nightmare because I was also young. And yeah, the voices I remember now, they were saying my name. So that's the mimic side of things. Um, so you might have a mimic following you around, but it's not like ever present because of your belief system. So just keep your belief system and go that route. And it very well could be because you're not. It's not like you're going to get a ton of spirits attached to you through your life. Generally, you get one or two that attach to you. Now there are people that have been had multiples attached to them, the legion as they call it, but that's super rare. And I'm going to say you probably have the same one that's following you right now. Um, and it could be because of your curiosity of that side. And the one with my friend, all of us heard it. It wasn't just me. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. A mimic can be heard by other people. That's not a. It's not a isolated event. It's just like a skinwalker can be seen by multiple people at the same time. Um, so In the house, it was obviously just me. My mom was in the bathroom doing YK. Gotcha. Doing, but yeah, no, a mimic will attach to one person, and that can be scary, and that can be terrifying, but you can be cleansed of that. Um, and there's ways to do that. Again, sage is a great way to do it to get rid of anything like that. The voodoo doll, you can send it to me, 100%. I'm not kidding. I will take the voodoo doll in. He will have a home with the rest of my haunted items if it is truly haunted. Now, I will put it through some tests and things like that. Now, the mimic, again, um, let's do this. I want to give you correct information. Okay, that's what I thought, but I wanted to be 100% sure. You have to break that connection. Yeah, I get that. You can keep the voodoo doll if you want to, or literally you can send it to me, and it will have a safe place to stay. But with the mimic, you have to starve its attention, meaning you have to break the connection that you have with it. I have no problems with taking in haunted items. Trust me, 100%. Reclaim your space. You want to stop acknowledging it altogether. Even if you hear it, don't react. That's the hardest part of of things because we as a human react to things, and you you literally have to have your friends not react to. You need to pull your friends aside and say, "Hey, look, if I do have this mimic attached to me, and we hear some voices outside of our group, I need you not to react," which is going to be hard because people are still going to react. Um, the time at my mom's house, I didn't tell anyone except for years later, and that's the experience everybody has. I didn't talk about my demon story for years. I was probably an adult before I actually told that story because who's going to believe me? You know, as a kid, oh, it's just your imagination. It's just you. You imagine what you saw, and see that's a reaction. You ran from the presence, and that's understandable. Because you're hearing things and it's not you guys. So what else am I supposed to do, right? So stop acknowledging it, reclaim your space, state firmly and aloud that you are sovereign over your own body and home. And you can do this now at your own home if that's where you're at right now. Tell the mimic it is unwelcome and order it to leave permanently from your presence. Don't acknowledge it. Tell it that this is your space. It is not welcome and it's in your space at all. You want to clear the air. Okay. Well, it's still with you somewhere, even if it hasn't appeared inside because of your belief system right now. Um, yeah, because you don't have the protection that you've got going on in your house. You want to visualize severing the cord between you and the mimic, cleanse your environment, smudge, like I was talking about with the sage or sweetgrass. Make sure you get into corners with the smoke as you're saging the house. Closets, doorways, open a window, only one, and allow that spirit to leave from that window. Because if you give it multiples, it's just going to stay. Because, hey, I can go out this one, I can go out this one, and you might think that you took it out. And if none of that works and you still hear the voices, you might have to seek out a higher power like you have before. Repeat daily affirmations, praying for your protection, all that good stuff. That might be your first step. No, I mean, it's whatever's going to work for you. Um, because I know that there are people that have come under attack of different things and they have been able to banish it out. Now, some people will call on not just a higher power like that, but they will call in a spiritualist, which I am not, to rid the house of any and all evils. Um, but for you, it just sounds like you've got the one mimic, and at that point in time, a saging should do pretty well, plus what you're already doing, which is calling on the higher power. And you should be okay. You're going to be fine. And then if you don't want to venture into the spiritual realm of things, then just don't acknowledge it anymore when it comes to that side. And sometimes that's the hardest part to sever because some people just don't want to see it. Me, I'm open to it. I'm cool with it. I could care less, to be honest. Um, the more I see, the better for me. That's just me. I'm old enough. I don't care. I don't give a shit anymore. you know, what if it's a demon where it can get past the higher power? A demon can't get past the higher power and find out its name, and it loses all power. But you have the higher power for you, and a demon has to flee in the name that you call. So make sure you call the right one, Yahweh. I mean, yes, we're at 42.7 thousand likes, puts us in the popular live category. We appreciate that. Don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here. And if you do follow us, go ahead and hit that bell icon. That way, it'll let you know when I post or go live. And I do send out invites as well. I mean, I haven't seen things where they do all that and it doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's just some that are just too powerful. Yours doesn't sound like it's very powerful. Let's just be real. Because you physically have not seen it, correct? Because if you have, then we're talking about something completely different. Um, because the mimic, like I said before, the mimic wants to like everybody is saying over here, ignore the mimic. Ignore it 100%, and it will diminish its power and go away. I mean, I've seen things where they do all that. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean that body. Yeah. Basically, everything that I'm seeing and reading, which I semi already knew, is that ignore the mimic. The mimic will eventually dissipate with no interactions with no feeding it. The more you feed a spirit, the more power it has over you. And that's with any spirit. And that is with a demon as well. But demons are a complete different entity of its own. You do not have a demon. So that's when you still have to go, like I said, you have to cleanse your space. Now, in so you've got a fence in your backyard, correct? What's behind your fence? So you've got a neighborhood. So what's directly behind your fence? Is it another house with other people's animals? I'm just asking. I'm not making light of. I'm just trying to get to the realization of what's behind your fence. The part she was barking at, there's a house on the right, and behind it, it's a different neighborhood. Okay. So let's just take the reality realm. The spot she was sitting and barking, there could have been numerous things happening. There could have been kids throwing a baseball. There could have been kids, doing whatever. I'm not saying that's what the case was. I'm just trying to give real possibilities. It's the whole debunk situation before we get to that spiritual aspect of things that the dog was sitting there barking at a mimic that was there. Don't know if the fence directly behind you. Okay. And see, those branches could have been scraping on the bench, you know? And dogs react to that type of thing. My dogs react to all kinds of things. We have raccoons in the area. They know when they're out here on the front porch, on the screened in porch, which is right outside that window out there. And they react, which is loud barking. And they will react to other animals outside that we don't see. So I come outside my backyard and straight ahead of the fence in the other neighborhood than the right. Okay. So this sounds like a lot of different scenarios could be happening. And I'm not talking about the spiritual side of scenarios. Now, I'm not saying that the mimic wasn't there. The mimic could have been sitting on that bench and you just didn't see it. But I would look at the rational side of it, if you will, as people would say. The debunking side of it is that a branch could have been scraping that bench, you know. And I'm not saying that it is, I'm just saying that's a possibility. And she was reacting to the sound of the scratching. Or there was a brief moment that a bird was there. There was a brief moment that there was a squirrel there. Um, and you just didn't happen to see it. And that's what she was referring to. But possums and raccoons, you're not going to see for the most part. Um, the dog is going to see them, absolutely, and hear them. So, and there could have been, any number of different type of animals in the area at the time, especially in the night. We get all kinds of stuff. Let me just break it down in my area. I live in the country S setting. I've got woods all around me. I've got deer. I've got bobcat. I've got possums, raccoons, coyotes. There's probably a couple other critters that I don't know about. I've got snakes. I've got all kinds of stuff, you know. And so the rabbits, we've got tons of rabbits here. So, and that's what she could be reacting to, because dogs are more sensitive than we are to the animal realm, and want them as food. You know, for the most part, you can get cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria, you know, to quote Ghostbusters a little bit. And so, with that note, it could be something very simple like that. It could be an animal, just like that. Um, there was a noise in there, so yeah, to me, it's just noise. But I do react to it because I do have animals in the house, and so that could be a real possibility that that's what it was just straight up animals and nothing more. And that's what I would leave it at. Why would I leave it there? Diminishes the power. No, let's not hope it was. Replace the mindset. It was an animal. Not let's hope it was. It was an animal. Again, diminishes the power that you're giving to something else. Because if you're thinking the mimic is there, the mimic is going to be there because you're feeding into its power. That's like, let's take it was an see, there you go. Okay. Um, Again, start severing that. I got to fix that glove. This is my drawing glove. It's not that I'm hurt or anything like that. This just keeps the ink or stuff from smudging on my paper, stuff like that. The pencil. Um, it was an animal. It was the wind. It was this. It was that. It was not the other. You get the point. The more you feed into it, the more it grows. The less you give it, see ya, bye bye. But see, you keep adding that little part to it right there. So you're still giving it what it wants. If you truly want it gone, go get you some sage. You can even do it in incense form, but I would get a sage stick, readily available at any store almost. Walmart even sells them, I think. But I don't know if you've got a, well, hell, you were in Louisiana, right? Because if you're in Louisiana, go into any voodoo shop and they're going to have what you want. Just tell them what you're doing. And they'll be like, okay, use this, this, and this. Okay, so you're right there. Go to a voodoo shop, seriously. Um, and be like, hey, I've got this attached to me. I want it gone. Um, and they can give you, this is what you use. And this is how you do it. They'll set you up for success on that note. Um, and that's the first thing I would do. I would go to a voodoo shop, get some sage, and see what else they recommend, and go from there. But sage, sage, sage first, or like I said, sweetgrass. One of the two. I would use sage. It's a little bit more powerful, but sweetgrass is good too. But not most people, not many places sell the sweetgrass. They sell the sage more, and you literally have to smudge, which means once you have set that sage on fire, that bundle of sage, and you blow out the flame and it's smoking, that ash that's right there, you literally smudge on your door frames, especially your entryway, windows, things like that. Open up the one window so that it can be driven out, and then smudge that window. And after you've done the entire house, close that window. That window should be the last one you smudge. And you can also get oil, holy oil, and things like that. I'm married. How do I fight that battle? It shouldn't be a battle. If you're married to your forever person, it shouldn't be a battle. If it's not your forever person, unfortunately, there's one way out of that. Cut the cord and say, bye. I've done it twice. I've been divorced twice. First one was not of my choosing. In fact, she asked for the divorce, and before the divorce papers were even written up, she was already engaged to another person. So make that make sense. And then the second one I got rid of because abusive, verbal and physical. And so I had enough. And so both of those marriages are older than some people on this platform. If I added up my marriages together, that was 30 years together. Okay, sounds good. And we'll talk more about uh, the piece you want to do as well. And like I said, we can work in a trade on, you know, payment plus a voodoo doll. But that is it for us today. We've talked about a lot of cool stuff, and hopefully we've helped Ben here get more clarity on what he needs to do to get rid of that. But we are done for today, folks. I got animals I got to tend to, got to get them outside, the pigs included. And they're only inside because it's so hot outside. It's been about 114 degrees here in the shade in Arkansas. So love you, buddy. Love you too, man. You have a great day and get lots of that good food. I don't know if you've ordered some food from that place that you sent me to before, but are here lately, but you need to do some more of that. I need to do some of that. What am I talking about? But as I like to say as I leave you guys, thank you all for being here, and we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.